It's 9 a.m. on January 3rd, 2019, and in 5 hours I will be getting a hysterectomy. Probably when you watch this, if you watch this the day it's uploaded on January 3rd, I am quite possibly, as you see this right now, getting a hysterectomy. And I've definitely made peace with that a lot more than I had before. I was quite nervous and anxious about it. And I think one of the things that helped me is, if you've followed my channel for a bit, you may have seen me refer to myself as FTX or FTA, as opposed to like FTM, right? So like female to non-binary, or female to agender, which I was identifying as agender for a number of years. Now I just identify as non-binary. Because I realized that this idea of going from female to non-binary, thinking about myself in that way was incredibly detrimental to my self-understanding and self-conceptualization. And I'm not female to anything. I just am non-binary. I just am. And I think part of it was this kind of internalized idea of non-binary as a category not being valid. But, you know, I think for me it kind of really came into stark contrast in that, like, I had very much intense chest dysphoria, and after top surgery, like, this chest, I look at myself and I see my flat chest and I go, that's me. That's how I am. That's how I've always been, underneath those breasts that I had for so many years that just didn't fit, right? And then going on full dose T very briefly in 2017 and growing some facial hair and having that same reaction of, like, this is not meant to be on my face. Hearing my voice drop. I like where it's at now, my voice. I don't want it any lower. I was hearing it start to go towards that kind of really, really deep kind of male timbre, and sort of realize, like, that isn't me. I need to stop now. This is not who I am. So, like, being a person who has had very much sex dysphoria about certain parts of my body, that were related to being female, and then having that same feeling of dysphoria towards certain aspects that were, like, are considered male, and just understanding myself to be very, very much far more comfortable with who I am in the middle, you know, like, has helped me understand that, like, non-binary is a legit thing. I'm not a trans guy. Like, I'm not, and it would probably be easier to explain to people if I was, and I definitely, you know, could identify and pinpoint these things that I had dysphoria about. But I noticed recently that this concept of gender euphoria, there's this argument that, like, if you don't have dysphoria, you're not trans, and then that's bullshit. You can be trans if you don't have dysphoria. If you have gender euphoria about certain things that you change about yourself, and this isn't a discussion or an argument that I've been involved in much, but the idea of gender euphoria has helped me a lot, because I realize, like, I don't necessarily have dysphoria about having a uterus. I get feelings of, like, very much panic from the idea of me birthing a baby but not just having a uterus, and I hate my periods, but that's just because of the pain and not because of a gender truth within myself. But I realized that, like, even though I don't have dysphoria about just having a uterus, just it being there, it doesn't bother me, I've been realizing recently that the idea of gender euphoria is legitimate, and that I think after my hysterectomy I'm going to have gender euphoria about not having one, even though I didn't have dysphoria about having one, if that makes sense. So that's kind of helped calm my nerves about that. And yeah, just understanding that I am non-binary, like, that's valid, and it's not. I think the other issue I was having was, like, I kept thinking, you know, I was stuck in this mind space for so long, definitely earlier on, about, like, do I want to be a man or do I want to be non-binary? And that idea of wanting, like, I was phrasing the question wrong. That idea of wanting to be, it doesn't work for me and my trans narrative, because I don't want to be, I just am. I just am non-binary. And when I realized that, like, I'm not wanting to be this, like, do I want to be a man? Do I want to be a woman? Do I want to be non-binary? Like, why is this question so hard? The question was hard because it was the wrong question to be asking. Like, I don't think being non-binary is any better or worse than being a man or being a woman, right? It's definitely harder than being cis, like, financially and physically. But it's not, like, I think I was trying to give these genders value to myself and figure out which would be more valuable for me, and it was just the wrong way of going about it. I just am non-binary. I can't help that. Like, it is what it is. It's not better or worse than anything else, and it's not, I think the thing that really helped me was it's not driven by a desire of mine, right? I just am. Like, I'm 5'6", right? I'm 5'6". I just am. Like, I don't go around thinking, like, do I want to be taller? Do I want to, like, it's a moot point. I just am. And so realizing that with non-binary, like, I just am. It's not about a desire. It's not about a want. It's not about, like, an attempt to change myself. It's about accepting who I've been all along. And I think that video I made of my chest dysphoria was incredibly helpful to me, to just see that visually all compiled together, that this was actually, like, really my experience from a very young age. And I had no idea what trans was, but I was still embodying my gender the way that I do, because that's just who I am. So I'm feeling a lot more comfortable about getting my hysterectomy, because I understand now that that will instill some euphoria in me. It'll take away some anxieties and, you know, definitely fix my horrendous period pains. So that's where I'm at right now. I went to the DMV yesterday. I passed my driving test. I signed the form saying I want my gender marker to be changed to non-binary. I'm getting my real ID in the mail very soon, my California ID with an X as the gender marker, and then I'm going to be getting my car and motorbike driver's license on the same card with my X, with my gender marker as an X. And that just feels incredibly validating. Like, California sees me. I fucking love this place. I mean, I'm from New Zealand, and in New Zealand you can also get X as your gender marker on your passport, so that's awesome as well. But just being, I wasn't living in New Zealand when that happened, so just, like, being in a state as that change happened. So the change happened on January 1st of 2019, that now you can have an X as your gender marker on your driver's license in California. And they were closed. All the DMVs in the state were closed on January 1st because it was a public holiday. I was in, you know, the one I went down, I had an appointment in San Jose at 9 a.m. The moment they opened, I was at the front of, I was there like an hour early. I was at the front of the line. I was the first person there that morning on January 2nd to get processed. So when my ID arrives, I still have to take the driving test for my driver's license. But when I got a California ID as well, so all they did was just change the gender marker on that. So when my California ID arrives with an X as a gender marker, I will be one of the first, if not the first, I don't want to, like, brag, but definitely one of the first people in the entire state of California to get an ID that has, like, a California DMV ID that has an X as my gender marker. And like, oh God, I'm gonna cry. Like, just, like, I didn't realize how much that would mean to me. I was excited about it, but, like, I feel seen. Like, I exist and the state sees me. Like, thank you, California. All right, I'm gonna go before I get too teary. I have a little bit of prep work to do before my hysterectomy, and I will see you all on the flip side.